Hello friends, welcome back. So in today's video we are going to cover AWS support engineer or cloud support engineer interview questions. Okay, so two of my students got selected on Amazon and one of them got selected on Citrix on the cloud areas. Okay, so let's go through the questions which they have faced in the interviews. Okay, and it's very interesting that if you have AWS certification or any cloud certification, so how will you prepare yourself for the interviews? Okay, and how you can achieve those. Okay, so let's look at that. Okay, so if you still not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. So this is the right channel for you guys for all AWS related informations. Okay, so let's go back and note it down the questions which they face, and you may also face in the future for if you are appearing for the AWS engineer, okay, or cloud support engineer. Okay, so let's start. So in very beginning, right, you must know the company which you are applying. Okay, so always research the company, okay, which you are applying. That company, what this company is doing, the technical stuff, what their technical scope, are you getting enough kind of knowledge, your promotions, salary hike, everything. Okay, so check this in very basic level. Okay, the next is very important point is, okay, prepare yourself, okay, to talk about your specific accomplishment. Okay, so in your previous project, okay, so let's assume you did a migration, okay, from on-premise to AWS cloud. Okay, then how will you tell to the interviewer how did you did that? Okay, what how you can go in the deep? Okay, you just can't say like that I use cloud and your product and we migrated, or we use some different methodology and we migrated these websites, these many servers. Okay, so it's not making sense to the interviewer also that how did you did, what is the deep area, okay, how you accomplishment that, okay, how you can show to the customer that what's the key points. Okay, so always keeping that in mind, okay, whenever you are going to give the interview. Next is train yourself, okay, to handle adversity. Okay, so what that means, okay, so in beginning, right, whenever the interview start, okay, the AWS interview or Citrix, any cloud interview, okay, which start, okay, the start will happen with the basic questions at the beginning. Okay, and as you are okay to give those basic question answer, the interviewer will ask you some tough questions, okay, some technical questions regarding the position which you are applying for. So be ready for all those tough question challenges, okay, for the interview which is going to ask you. Okay, so today we are going to see, I'm going to make a two-part of this video. The part one will be the basic questions which you guys must know. Okay, if you don't know the answer, Google it, try to ping me, send me email, I will help you guys. Okay, but you must know all these answer, all the basic questions. And these basic questions, if you go for any interviews, you go to Microsoft, Google, then AWS, Amazon, Citrix, any cloud, okay, these basic questions they will ask you guys. Okay, and the expectation is at least you should give the answer of these basic questions. If you pass these basic questions, then the position related questions they will ask. Okay, so this is the very beginning and you guys must know these questions. Okay, so let's going to start that. Okay, so very first is coming to OS, okay, operating system. Okay, so what's there in the operating system? Okay, so the basic questions come whenever this operating system is coming up, that how OS is getting boot. Okay, so this is very basic question. Okay, so in earlier terms we call as how the bootstrap process is happening. Okay, so you guys must know how the bootstrap is happening. So the answer you might heard in earlier days where engineer click on press the button, start button, then what the process trigger. So nowadays everything is virtual, right? So everything is virtual, all the VMs, clouds, okay, everything on EC2 VMs, everything is virtualized. Okay, so in this virtualization system, in this cloud, how the OS is getting boot. Okay, so this is, you need to prepare yourself. Okay, then the next frequently asking question about different between Windows 2012 and the next OS and next generation OS. Okay, so answer, you must know this. Okay, this is what it is. Okay, the third OS related question, and it is frequently getting asked about difference between 32-bit and 64-bit processes. Okay, so what is the difference 32-bit and 64-bit process? Why we require two things, right? So this you need to give answer. Okay, now moving into next part. Okay, so now we know about OS. Okay, now let's move next to the registry. And trust me guys, registry questions is getting asked frequently for Amazon interviews. If you are going for Amazon cloud support engineer, Amazon system engineer, or if you are going for Citrix cloud or Microsoft cloud, okay, this is a question they are asking for all those candidates on very first level. Okay, so the question is like Windows load in registry, how Windows loads in the registry, correct? So where the Windows load in the registry. Okay, this is the question. Or there's one more question they ask, last group configuration. Okay, if you are rebooting if you are if your OS is corrupt, and if you are just recovering your OS with last good configuration, okay, then where will be that part of the registry? Okay, this is the questions. Okay, they are asking, and the expectation answer there is somewhere in current control set. Okay, then you need to give answer like that. Okay, and guys, if you don't know the answer, please ping me, I will help you. Okay, and the next is frequently asked question for all these cloud interviews, that what is the purpose of 3 current control set? Okay, so why we require current control set? Okay, like HKL, user, local machine, and one more. Why we require this current control set? Okay, this is the next set of question asking on all the interviews for cloud. Okay, so now let's move to the different level. So the next is the file storage operations. Okay, so in file storage, what basically the questions we are asking? Okay, so the question is simple question, basic questions like NTFS. What is NTFS? Okay, then all those questions. Okay, some of them were also asked you about how do you do a capacity management, okay, how will you handle this capacity needs? Okay, if you are building a file storage for one of the shared folder, how will you handle the capacity? How will you handle the backups? Okay, then how will you keep maintenance like up to date? Like all those questions will come under file storage. The next one which is very critical, okay, basically, and that is about the event logs. Okay, and this is asking for everywhere. Okay, any interview question they are asking. Okay, So interview, so just say the question is how would you monitoring and doing auditing about event log. Okay, then you need to say you have a monitoring tool. Okay, so just like Netflix or any other which you are currently monitoring. Okay, third party tool. Okay, and how will you take that if any issue? So suppose I'm facing one of my application is frequently closing. Okay, if I'm opening, let's assume like Microsoft Word. Okay, so I'm using Microsoft Word and it is frequently closing. It's opening but it is closing. Okay, so what is the cause? How will you check that? Okay, in event logs you can see it's open but some issues it's getting closed. How will you troubleshoot? So you need to say like this, we'll download process monitor, proc monitor, and you will see, analyze how the proc monitor is working. So basically you will check event logs. So events log, if you're not able to troubleshoot, then you will use the third party tool. Okay, or you will use process monitor to identify. So all this coming in this question section. So next coming is networking. Okay, so in networking they will ask you how the TCP handshake is happening. Correct, how the TCP handshake is happening, and when the session intake or disconnect. Okay, so how the session intake established or it's getting disconnect. Okay, then they will ask you IP address classes. Okay, which one, how many IP address coming in, class A, B, C. Okay, all those questions they will ask. Also, they will ask that how you are defining the subnet. If you require suppose 10,000 IP, then how will you define? So just like if I am using 192.168.0.0, if I give /24, then how many IP if I will get? If I want more IPs, then how I need to define. Okay, so all those stuff they are going to ask you in this interview. So prepare yourself for these basic questions. And if you are applying for a network engineer, okay, so you need to be specific with all those options like routing. Correct, let me write it down here. So like routing, how the routing is happening, what's the meaning of cross cable, when to use, what is the gateway, ICMP ping packet, when you are using route print, can we add the route in the sections, what is the persistent route, DSCP, DNS name resolution, DNS query, DNS port, RDP. So all these questions, okay, is basic question which they are going to ask. Okay, the next thing is that about the resource monitor. How will you monitor your resource about your particular VDI or VM, EC2? Okay, all those. So in resource monitor, the questions will be if my CPU is stuck. Okay, how you are going to handle that? How you are going to check? If memory is stuck, how you are going to identify where it is getting utilized or which application is causing the issue. So suppose I am using a number of application at a moment and something is triggered on my IE and the memory is getting stuck. Okay, so how will you identify that it's a memory issue, it is a CPU issue? Okay, how will I identify performance monitor counter? Okay, how will you handle the performance monitor counter? So these are the basic question which you are going to ask. And top of that, okay, it's depend upon you how much experience you have. Okay, but they will ask you something on domain controller. Okay, so domain controller questions will be how the site replication happening. Okay, how will you use DCDAG or repadmin? Okay, how the group policy replication is happening. Okay, so all these basic questions they are going to ask you. Okay, so these are the domain controller, and the last one which I am going to tell you is asked for one of my students about. It's quite difficult to answer. Okay, but you guys figure it out. Okay, how to repair OS. Okay, and what is the impact is happening in the background. Okay, like which impact is happening in background. Okay, so if you are repairing OS, what's happening in background, how the system files are getting reinstalled, everything you need to be specific. So let's review what we did so far. So very first we seen how to research the company whichever you are applying. Is this a technical, which means for all your career growth, is it suitable company? Okay, then second is specific accomplishment. Okay, the reason why AWS or all other companies, okay, even if you are certified, still you are not getting highly paid. Okay, this is because of the interviews, how you are giving. Okay, to set the expectation, tell all the facts, numbers which you achieved in your previous job. Okay, then train to handle yourself, to handle adversity. Okay, so what this means, okay, to handle the tough questions. So initially everything they will ask all the basic questions, but ensure that all the basic question you supposed to give the answer. If you fail to answer the basic question, you will fail there itself. Okay, so try to give answer to all the basic questions. So that's why this video I have created to explain you what those are basic questions for cloud interviews. Okay, so all these basic questions you need to give answer, like operating system, registry, file storage, event logs, networking, resource monitor, domain controller, and OS related. So all these basic questions you must know. If you able to answer these questions, then also you are clear for next round. So this is what for today's video, the part 1 for all the basic questions for AWS support engineer, cloud support engineer. Okay, so please go ahead and try to find the answer yourself. If you don't know, please get back to me. I will let you know, or let me know if you need in detail answer videos also. I will try to create that one also. Okay, so that's it for today. We'll see you on next week on the part 2. Okay, the next level. Okay, so once this is for the very beginning, so keep in mind in Amazon there are 3 interviews that are happening. Apart from there are 14 core values interview. Okay, so you need to clear all those interviews. Okay, so this is the part 1. Very short, I will make a video for part 2 on specific. Okay, so stay tuned on this channel. Thanks for watching.